Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So thank you so much for joining, and let me just preface this by saying this is my very first actual content video. So please bear with me because it's going to be super raw and authentic, but I'm just giving it to you real, and I hope that the content is enough to suffice for maybe what my lack of understanding video is all about or what it looks like. Okay, so let's just dive in by saying that this channel is absolutely created for those of you who feel like you've hit a wall, like there are pieces to the puzzle that are missing as far as your health and well-being goes, and you're looking for an alternative method and probably a more holistic one. Okay, let me state that with a caveat that you are your guru. You are attached to your higher being, and your higher being guides you according to your own needs. So yes, this is one way of getting to healing. It is not the only way. It is not all inclusive. There are definitely many more modalities that I'm not going to touch on here, only because this was my path. So everything that I'm going to give you is based on my road to recovering. Okay, so keep whatever resonates with you and just toss whatever doesn't. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I want to start by telling you a story about one of my patients so that you can kind of get some context of where I'm coming from. All right. And this is basically, I do this with all of my patients, but I like this story in particular. So I had a patient who had a small bowel obstruction. So in her small intestines, food, the digestive masses weren't able to get through the tubing. She had a block. And she ended up going into surgery and came back and had a nasogastric tube placed, which is, if you've ever had one, you'll never forget it. It's the thing that makes your eyes water and makes you want to gag at the same time. It's the tube that we put down through your nose, down to your throat, and down into your stomach to suck up all of the gastric juices that are being pushed out into the digestive tract to give the bowels some rest. So she had this procedure done in her NG tube, and she just felt like things weren't getting better. She felt like she was still very blocked. Granted, she had just had surgery, so it's kind of subjective. But so I started working with her, and I noticed that in her medication regimen, she had something for GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease. So basically, she had heartburn. She had chronic heartburn. And I know from my work that her heartburn and subsequent small bowel obstruction all tied in to an emotional feeling of not being able to stomach something. So I started talking to her about metaphysics, which is understanding the nature of the mind so that you can help heal the body. And basically what I explained to her is that emotions that she has been feeling have been getting trapped in the body because they haven't been healed and worked through properly. And the body is giving her signs that she needs to do the spiritual work. The point of me telling you about all of this is to explain to you that you are more than what you think. You are a spirit having a human experience. We come to Earth to inhabit these physical bodies so that we can learn what it's like to experience all of the emotions that humans experience. Joy, happiness, peace, anger, grief, sadness, hate, the gamut, you name it, we come here to experience it. And when we become more than just observers, when we start to take on the personal identity of our pain and suffering, our bodies show us that. So Your body is beautiful. Your body is an ingenious creation made by the one true creator to give you messages letting you know when you're off track. So every symptom that you have, every ailment is a signal. It's kind of like an alarm letting you know, hey, you're not in alignment with your higher being. So if we try to silence those with pills and surgery, it silences the alarm for a time, but it doesn't stop the damage because we haven't gotten to the root of what caused that symptom in the first place. So we have to see ourselves as more than just physical beings. We're much more than that. At our lowest level, we are atoms. So many atoms that I don't even know how to say this number of how many atoms we are. And atoms are held together by an invisible force. And that invisible force is your life force. It's the God source. And so any physical ailment that you have starts at the energetic or spiritual level. And if we only treat our bodies at the physical level, the energy level never gets healed, which is why we have chronic illnesses. I had a guy who had cancer, full-blown metastatic all over his body, but 7 years earlier, he had been in remission from just kidney cancer. So how did he go from having full-blown kidney cancer to having the cancer all over his body? He told me that he ate right and he exercised and he had a loving, committed relationship with his wife. And when we dove into his past, he told me that when his children were little, their mother left them and him. And he said, I can forgive her for leaving me, but I can't forgive her for leaving the kids. Unforgiveness caused his cancer. He didn't know how to cope with all of those really big, huge emotions, and it took a toll. So we really have to look at what it is on the emotional, spiritual level that's affecting us in order to be truly well. So there are lots of books that talk about this. So I'm just going to kind of bring them up one by one. I want you to be able to understand where I'm coming from and maybe even gain the tools that I used in order to heal myself. So Florence Scovel Shinn, in her book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, explains that every metaphysician knows that all illnesses start at the spiritual level. It has a mental correspondence, and in order to heal the body, one must first heal the soul. Let me tell you that I was like reading from memory for a second there until I could find the spot. So the metaphysician knows that all disease has a mental correspondence. And in order to heal the body, one must first heal the soul. Now, let me explain to you what she says the soul is. The soul is the subconscious mind, and it must be saved from wrong thinking. Because every thought you have, because you're an energy being and a creator, sends out an energy frequency like a radio wave. It has its own hertz, and the higher vibrational thoughts like peace, love, joy, happiness have a higher frequency, and lower vibrational thoughts like greed, jealousy, hatred, they all have a lower vibrational frequency. And when you think about it, you can feel that. If you think about what it feels like to be in love, if you think about what it feels like to be happy and joyful and peaceful compared to what it feels like to feel angry and sad and jealous, you can feel the feeling of the different frequencies. And so we must get to a state, and I'm not saying think positive because I hate that saying, oh, just think positive. Well, how? How do I think positive? We have to get to a place where we decide that we are going to shift our vibrations so that we can be well, to understand that our peace is our peace and it cannot be disturbed by anything outside of us. And that brings me to the next book. So Louise Hay, in her book, You Can Heal Your Life. And I like this week, I have been hearing a lot about self-worth, and I really wanted to touch on that and kind of give you her perspective. And I would wonder, post in your comments if this really resonated with you, or if this was something that you need to hear. So because we came here as spirits, and, to have a physical experience, we said, okay, and you've had past lives. I'm just going to say that now. You've had many past lives, and each life you're trying to learn something new so that you can grow your soul. And so in this lifetime and in all others, you've said, okay, well, here's what I want to experience. And some people, they may want to feel being able to forgive the unforgivable, or they want to feel what it's like to lose a child, or to feel what it's like to have, I don't know, some debilitating thing, like if they're in a wheelchair their whole lives, to feel what it's like to experience all of those things. Okay. So if you're going through life having set these things up for yourself, you can get to a point in your life where you say, okay, I have experienced what that's like. Got it. Wrote a book on it. Now I'm ready to release it. So that's what Louise Hay is going to talk about in her book. So she says to her clients that you have to be willing to release the need. She says to clients, there must be a need in you for this condition or you wouldn't have it. And she says, let's go back a step and work on the willingness to release the need. You have to be willing to release whatever it is that has been binding you for so long in order to let go. And it absolutely is a test of your will, because the body really loves consistency. It loves being in the same state all the time. And it kind of gets addicted to feeling like that. Like melancholy, we get addicted to feeling like that. And so saying to myself, I am not comfortable here. So I'm willing to release this so that I can live my happiest, healthiest life is what you have to do in order to move forward. So she says, one of the first affirmations she uses is, I am willing to release the need for the resistance or the headache or the constipation or the excess weight or the lack of money or whatever the condition is. And then to say that they understand that they deserve it. So self-worth was a big one, right? Self-worth prevents us from living our happiest, healthiest life. It stops us from going after our goals, from knowing that we're worthy of an abundance of money, to know that we're worthy of love and respect and all of the best things that this life has to offer. If we feel like we're unworthy of receiving it, we will keep reflecting or projecting out life situations that reflect back to us, I'm not worthy. So we have to be willing to release it. So the way she talks about releasing self-worth is to say, I am willing to release the need to be unworthy. I am worthy of the very best in life, and I now lovingly allow myself to accept it. And then she goes on in to say that doing it every day will eventually create a new pattern of thoughts that now say, okay, I don't have to procrastinate and delay my good because I'm worthy of moving forward. I'm worthy of receiving all of that. Now, the reason we talk about affirmations is because your subconscious mind needs to be retrained. So from a very young age, you learn how this world works and how you fit in it. And if at any time in your childhood, you were made to feel unworthy, like there was a lack of love, like you were uncared for, even the smallest things, like if you weren't included in a group in school, you may have bought in to a belief of unworthiness, which was all planned before you got here. But there comes a time in our lives when we have to say, you know what, I'm done with that plan, and now it's time for me to remember who I am at my core. And the way we do that is by affirmations, because your thoughts are what cause this repetitive thing to keep popping up in your life. So if you can start on a new track, you're going to eventually go down a new path. And affirmations are a wonderful tool to do that. If you listen to affirmations at night while you're sleeping, it's like a double whammy, because your subconscious mind is easily retrained at night when it's in a state of theta. So right before you go to bed, and then as soon as you wake up, if you put in like really soft headphones and listen to I Am Affirmations, say on YouTube or whatever program you want to listen to, it helps to retrain your brain. So I've literally been using that for about 2 years now. And let me tell you, I was able to get rid of anger and anxiety. I was able to heal my self-worth and so many other things. And I know that it can work for you too. Alrighty. So that's a lot of information. And the goal really is to get you to see that you're more than just this. It's to get you to see that you're not at the mercy of the universe, that you're not at the mercy of your circumstances, and that you do absolutely have power to overcome whatever it is that you've gone through, whatever it is you've experienced. There's nothing too big that you can't heal, because you are huge. You are a spirit. You are connected to God's source. So really understanding, I keep touching my microphone. I hope you guys can't hear it, but really understanding that you're not alone and that there is light at the end of the tunnel, I think makes all of the difference in the world. And it doesn't matter what religion you are, or if you're just spiritual. It really helps though. It, like, having some sort of spiritual base helps, because you are a mind, you have a mind, you have your body, and then you are your soul. But you have to have all three things, all three tenets working together in order for you to be truly well. So if you're healing your mind, working on your thoughts, if you're healing your body by doing some form of physical activity and trying to feed it high vibrational foods, because low vibrational foods will also bring you down vibrationally, which like compounds whatever it is that you're already experiencing. And it puts your body in fight or flight, and you just can't heal when you're in a state of fight or flight. If you're working on all of those things, the next is the soul, the spirit, what you're tied to, understanding that you are loved, and you always have been, and that you're worthy of love, and that you're bigger than what you think, and that truly you're not alone. Even though it may seem like it, we cut ourselves off from the knowing that we are guided and protected when we wallow and stay, not necessarily wallow like it's blame, but when we stay trapped in our emotions. So another book that really resonated with me. Now this is an incredible book. Carolyn Myss, The Anatomy of the Spirit. She really, and this and Florence Scovel Shinn and Louise Hay, they all really tie in like some form of religion. And so Louise Hay and Florence, they tie in like a metaphysical view of the Christian Bible. And then Carolyn Myss ties in the Kabbalah and the 7 sacraments. I think those, and then also the chakras, the Ayurvedic system. So what she says about who we are as human beings, it helps to understand where we are and who we are. All right. So she basically explains that when she was a medical intuitive, and what she says is that she started explaining to her patients the energy system of the body. And then she realized that she could no longer just refer to it as energy, and that she had to explain it as a spiritual experience, because the more we try to just see ourselves as little physical beings in the world, the more we are likely to become third-party bystanders in our own healing and allowing other people to do it for us. But we really have to understand that it's not a spectator sport. You have to participate. So, yes, that was that. So she explains, right, the chakras, the 7 sacraments, and the Kabbalah. Apparently there are 7 different tenets for each one that go hand in hand. And it really makes you understand and see that all paths lead to the one. All religions are saying the same thing. All spiritual groups are saying the same thing. And it's just a different form of interpretation. So I was really lost for a long time, growing up in the South, and I really felt separated from the church and everything it stood for. I just kind of perceived it as women bashing and a mechanism of control. And when I found Florence Scovel Shinn, she really helped me to connect to the essence that's within. And I've never been more spiritual and deeply devoted, knowing that God is with me all the time and flows through me and loves me and protects me and watches over my children and my finances. So I always tell my patients that those who have a stronger spiritual base fare better, because you can't have faith and fear at the same time. And so Florence always says, perfect faith casts out all fear. Fear does a number on the body, and it sends you into a state of fight or flight and a stress response where you can't heal. And then it makes you think that you can't heal and that you're at the mercy of everything. So another topic I wanted to bring up was breath work. So this book is more than just about the breath. She absolutely digs into our essence. Drop my bookmark. She digs into our essence and explains exactly who we are. But let me read you this one interesting thing about the bus stop. Okay, this is how she explains who we are on the other side. Imagine yourself at a cosmic bus stop where you and others pause between trips to this physical plane. As you wait, you get to chatting with the other souls at the bus stop, talking about your plans and agendas for life on Earth. You speak about what you desire to learn, how you wish to grow, and what you'd like to experience as a means of revealing to yourself your own true divine nature as a being of energy and the creator of your own life. I want to learn about my wisdom, one of the other souls says. I'm going to learn courage, declares another. I want to experience being unconditionally loving, says a third. What are you going there to do? Someone asks. Well, you might say I'm going to have a bunch of experiences of waking myself up. I want to know my ability to forgive. Yes, I'm choosing a level 10 experience of forgiveness, not just a level 3 or level 4. I'm really going for it this time. A level 10 forgiveness. Wow. Okay, how are you going to do that? Another soul asks. Well, I'm not exactly sure. I suppose someone is going to have to do something that is nearly unforgivable. One of your companions asks the obvious question, what would that take? You reply, well, someone would have to do something like drink too much at happy hour, get behind the wheel, cross the center line on the road, and hit my car head on. To take it over the top, they might take the lives of my family or cripple me. it could have been avoided and would be completely irresponsible. Then after many years of hurt and anger and suffering even more because of my unforgiveness, I will reach way down inside my heart and find a deeper layer of myself than I would ever have known under any other set of circumstances and forgive them. You pause for a moment, remembering that the bus stop offers an opportunity to enlist others to help you achieve what you want of your earth life. Who wants to be the driver for me? You ask. No one raises a hand. Come on, you plead. I've waited forever to have this chance to evolve myself. I'm asking with all that I have, will someone please help me catch this opportunity? Someone finally chimes in. I'll do it. I can see how much it means to you. Plus, it will help me with my own mission of self-forgiveness. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so moved that you would do that for me. Well, I guess I'll see you on Earth. And off you go, ready to take on the biggest task of your being thus far. Now, she says the bus stop conversation is a metaphor, of course, of seeing your own energy as working to dissolve the illusions that you are a separate self. So what you need to know about Dr. Sue Morter is that she was sexually abused as a child. And what she realized and she talks about it in her book, but what she realized is that she came here to learn how to forgive the unforgivable. And she is healed and thriving and well because she made the choice. So we all have a choice. So as far as breath work goes, she talks a lot about our channel, down like the middle of our body, flowing it in from the top of your head, out through your feet, and then up through your feet, through your legs, and out through the top of your head. Which is extremely powerful. Now, I failed to mention that I also had chronic hip pain. So I had anxiety and depression, which I healed through all of the affirmation work and emotional freedom technique tapping, EFT tapping. You can find videos about that on YouTube, which is where I got it from. But it incorporates affirmations and it helps you release. It helps to stop the spiral with anxiety, and it helps you to understand that it's okay. Yes, you have anxiety, but it's okay. And then I also had chronic hip pain for 20 years. I genuinely thought I was going to have surgery. I had physical therapy. I did myofascial release. I used dry needling. I work out all the time and I stretch and do mobility work and nothing was helping. Once I kind of went down this path and once I found Florence, really, I was able to see that this was an emotional, spiritual issue. I was holding emotions in my body. And so once I realized that the physical therapy started to work, the exercises they gave me started working. When I would do myofascial release, my muscles would actually start to relax and let go because I was no longer being affected at the root level. And Louise Hay's book and Florence Scovel Shinn both talk about if you are experiencing a symptom, it is related to an emotional issue. And it even gives examples for especially this one. And then this one as well by Homan Romero, Knowing Ourselves. They all are metaphysical authors and they all talk about how the nature of the mind affects the body. So check those out because if you have been looking for answers, they're there. And that brings me back to talking about the breath work. So if you have a physical ailment, using your breath not only helps with centering yourself, but it also literally helps you have stuck energy. You are an energy body, a spiritual body. Your energy is stuck in certain areas and it helps to push that out, to start working it out while you're also releasing the emotions that put it there in the first place. So Dr. Sue Morter's book talks about the channel of energy. So does this one. by Il-Chi Lee, Meridian Exercises. He talks more about abdominal breathing. So Dr. Sue Morter has you bring the air through your body all the way and then come up. But Il-Chi Lee talks about bringing it into your abdomen and doing abdominal breathing. So I actually use both. When I run, I do the abdominal breathing. It's easier for me to regulate the flow, and you can literally feel like the energy flowing if you practice it enough. And then when I'm like doing yoga, or if I'm working through an exercise, I'll use more of the channel breathing that she uses here. So that was a lot of information, and I know, we covered a lot of different things: self-worth and healing our physical ailments. I just kind of wanted to get this first video out to you guys. I've kind of been sitting on this a long time because guess what? I had to heal my self-worth. I had to heal my self-worth because it was causing me to procrastinate, which is what Louise Hay was saying. So I feel blessed to finally be able to be at a point where I feel safe to release this, and I hope that it resonates with you. I will be posting videos all the time. I'm so excited to get this content out to you. I have so much to share. So if this resonates with you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you want to share it with some friends. I mean, I know that we shouldn't push things on people, but hey, it's like, wow, look at this different perspective, because it really is on healing. And that's all I've got for you. Until next time, I love you guys so much. Can't wait to see you again.